Good morning, Covington County. Welcome to our show, oddly named Good Morning, Covington County. Got a special guest in the studio with us, Cousin Joshua. He's here with Cousin Jared, and I'm Brother John. Kind of a 3J triumvirate here. If your name's not Jay, you can't be in the studio today. That's not true. We have a special guest in later today whose name does not start with a J, it starts with a B, Blake Thurman. Anyway, good to have you here with us today on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018. I love this day. I'm alive. What a great place to be. What a great time to be alive. Beautiful weather outside. I mean, it's just incredible out there. I'll get right into it early. We have a buzzard report. There were 11 buzzards on the courthouse this morning. We got here so early today that we were unable to count the attorneys. So we have a good start to the day already. As you know, most of our news that we read to you, it comes from the Andalusia Star News, and we want to give attribution to them wherever we can because, well, they're a good source of our news for one thing, but for another thing, they're a pretty doggone good little small town paper. I think the most important article in today's paper was an article written by Michelle Gerlach, who's also the editor over there, about how far away we are from the party primaries here in the state of Alabama. We're just a little bit more than a month away. I think it's 33 days until June 5th when the Democrats and Republicans will share a day of voting and being a Republican and being a Democrat, but most important, being an American. We've been working real hard to try to get as many of the people that are running in these elections on here and bring them to you where you can get to know them and make an informed decision, because it's not about name recognition, it's about what they believe and what they could do. The article in the Andalusia Star News today goes on to point out that in this particular election here in Alabama, we'll pick the governor, the lieutenant governor, the U.S. representative from this area, attorney general, chief justice, and 2 associate justices to the Alabama Supreme Court. We'll also elect 4 appellate justices, a secretary of state, a treasurer, an auditor, commissioner of agriculture and industries, and members of the public service commission. We'll also choose a sheriff here in Covington County, and we'll elect members of the Republican or the Democratic executive committees. We've had several of the people that are running for sheriff's office in this race. Right now it's Dennis Meeks, who's seeking a 4th term. He's being challenged by Nikki Carney, who we had on yesterday and did an interview. Of course, we had Dennis on earlier. And Blake Thurman, who will be in today. Good people, seem like fine folks. The Republican State Executive Committee is a contest between Stephen King, who works out at Power South, and Wiley D. Ward, who is a retired, you might say NASA scientist. Local guy, knows more about history than anybody but maybe Sidney Waits in the local area. On the Democratic ballot, Harriet J. Hubbard and Hazel Jeanette Lewis both seek election to the Democratic Executive Committee. The last day to register for any of this is May 21st, when voter registration will be over. Now, you can, if you want to, you can get your voter registration application online by going to the Alabama State Secretary of State's website. You can either complete online, you can complete it either online or download a form and carry it in. The applications are also available at the probate judge's office, the courthouse, and in the Board of Registrar's office in the county administration building, which is out on Hillcrest Drive here in Andalusia. Those who wish to vote absentee in the primary must request a ballot by the 31st of May. That's a Thursday. And the ballot must be postmarked by Monday, June 4th. Of course, June 5th is the day of the election. If a candidate fails to receive a minimum of 50% of the +1 of the votes cast, there will be a runoff. And that runoff will be held on July 17th with 5 candidates on the Republican ballot for governor, 6 seeking the Democratic nomination for governor, 5 people vying for the Republican House position in the House, U.S. House of Representatives. There's a pretty high probability that we're going to have a runoff in some of those things. Now, you got to remember one thing. This is a Republican primary for Republicans, a Democratic primary for the Democrats. They don't allow crossover voting. If you're a registered Democrat, you can only vote in the Democratic primary. If you're a registered Republican, you can only vote in the Republican primary. If you're a Democrat who likes a Republican and wants to vote for him, you better get yourself registered as a Republican, or you have actually committed a crime which is punishable by prosecution. And I don't know, I don't think they take you out back and execute you, but it's a serious thing. So be aware of that. That crossover voting is not allowed in Alabama state primaries. Well, folks, we're closing in on time for our first break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Good News Covington County with Brother John, Cousin Jared, and Cousin Joshua. We're kind of experimenting with a new setup with sound and that kind of stuff. I'm sure you might be a little bit upset today because that camera that hides me, the microphone that I usually hide behind is gone today. We're trying some new things with sound to see if we can get you a better quality audio as we try to work our way into getting this formula that we're working with here at WKNI into better shape. I want to talk about another article that was in the Andalusia Star News about the First Presbyterian Church. They have a meals outreach here in Covington County, and it's their Love Thy Neighbor luncheon. They have it several times during the year. Well, I think it's about once a week. And in the last 5 years, they have managed to serve 10,000 free meals to the community. That's a big, I think a big contribution. They talk about the story about how the congregation at First Presbyterian has struggled for a long time to determine a way they could best serve those in the community that were in need. Needing, as they said, needing food for the body and the soul. They felt that there was a continuous call from God to do this work, but they didn't know exactly how they would approach it. In the end, they came up with 2 hot meals to be served each month. A breakfast on the second Saturday between 8 and 10 p.m. and a lunch on the 4th Wednesday between 11 and 1 p.m. Now, the great thing about it is you can come there, I can come there, Cousin Joshua can go there, Cousin Jerry can go there. They're not going to ask you for your ID. They're not going to they're not going to try to proselyte you. But if you need food, it's available there. And I've had the food. It's pretty doggone good. It's not like they're going to give you a peanut butter sandwich and a carton of orange drink and say, get out of here. There's a lot of fellowshipping and some good things going on down there. And I just think that they've done a great job down there with what they've done. It's heartwarming to see people in our community when they gather together for a good thing like that. And this is an opportunity to not only gather together to help one another, you can have some tremendous fellowship. They have birthday, they'll sing on your birthday, and they give away door prizes, that kind of stuff. I'm waiting to get a door one day when I go there. But apparently they're not actually giving away a door prize. In another article in the Andalusia Star News, this one written by Lacey Stinson, is the 100 Owl Miles. It's an initiative to promote recreational tourism and it encourages fitness. It's a new economic development program to encourage Alabamans to make use of the state parks, the nature preserves, rivers in the state, and to get fit in the process. The idea behind this is that they want you to walk 100 miles a week on these areas, and that's a pretty ambitious goal for most of us. I'd like to sleep 100 miles a week, and I'm not doing that thus far. It was presented by the University of Alabama Center for Economic Development, along with a lot of other things, and they've been partnering with organizations throughout the state to make this happen. They want you to, I'll state what the goal is here. The goal is for a person to complete 100 miles of activity over a year span in Alabama Nation by running, walking, hiking, swimming, paddling, riding, or rolling. I don't know what rolling is, but I guess if you could roll 100 miles, you'd kind of want it on a real smooth, flat place for your for your ribs and that kind of stuff. I know that seems like an impossible goal for a lot of people, but all they need is 2 miles a week. If you think about Stonewall Jackson's armies, they would march 40 miles in a day. In fact, they were known as the foot cavalry. So 2 miles a week's not very much, and it'll help us all out. You can learn, if you enroll in the program at 100alabamamiles.org. That's 100 lowercase alabamamiles.org. You can receive electronic badges for every milestone you achieve. There's goals out there. A person that exercised in the Conecuh National Forest would receive, for instance, Conecuh National Forest badge. The website's got a lot of catalog where you can see how many miles that a person's walked toward their goal, and to find recreational trails throughout the area. It's just simply an idea to provide us with a healthier living and something good for each one of us. I mean, it's better to be in good health than bad health. The Alabama health author, Dr. Scott Harris, says that Alabamians have high rates of health issues. Alabamians have high rates of inactivity and obesity and other associated health conditions, including hypertension and diabetes. Physical activity plays a major role in preventing obesity and chronic disease. See, this is obesity right here. The challenge will kick off Saturday, May 12th, with events at several Alabama state parks. The largest event will take place in Birmingham at the Railroad Park at 9 a.m. Folks, that's the end of our segment right now. We'll be back shortly with more news. Welcome back to Good News Covington County, coming to you from on the Court Square in Andalusia, Alabama, talking to Andalusia, Red Level, Sanford, Strawn, Pleasant Home, Carolina, Fleda, all parts of the county that we're proud to be in and proud of the residents of. We've got about 9,200 homes that we get to talk to nearly every day, and we're thankful for every one of those homes. We're thankful for you as viewers and appreciate the time that you give us. Got a little something that's kind of a futuristic story here. Did you realize that in 2019, Alabama will be 200 years old? We have a 200-year-old state. How about that? And preparatory to that, the Alabama State Bicentennial Committee has created the Alabama Bicentennial School Participant Awards. And in Covington County, we've got 2 elementary schools that are participating in it. One of them is Strawn Elementary School. They've gotten notebooks and put that kind of stuff together. And the other one is W.S. Harlan down in Lockhart, where they're doing everything they can to make projects to remember the 200 years of the state of Alabama. As I said, they've got notebooks they fill with research projects about the history of Alabama. And we have an interesting history in Alabama. A lot of people aren't aware of it. And an Andalusian, a native Andalusian, Dr. Mac Brooms, who was the state archaeologist for a number of years, graduated in 1969 from Andalusia High School. He was very instrumental in the creation of the Fort Toulouse project up around Wetumpka, Alabama, where they recreated a French trading post that was there at the intersection of two rivers. It's a wonderful facility if you can go to, and it has, as I say, a local connection. Now, Max, we were close enough in high school, I don't have to call him Dr. Brooms. Mac and I go back a long way, and Mac will be real modest about that, but at 200 years of Alabama history, they do research about famous Alabamians. I'm sure they'll do a lot about the Bankhead brothers from Tuscumbia, very influential. They're going to take trips to the Conecuh National Forest so that they can see parts of the forest that are in almost the original state when the first white man came to this part of the world. But anyway, the great thing about it is that they're being recognized by Governor Kay Ivey in Strawn and Lockhart for the great work that they've done that. The Alabama Bicentennial Commission encourages all K through 12 schools to participate in commemoration of the state's Alabama Bicentennial. Schools can fill out their school participation form at www.alabama200.org. That's www.alabama200.org, and you'll receive a commendation from Governor Ivey that they can frame and display in the lobby or in a room or something like that. Schools can also apply to become designated Alabama Bicentennial schools and receive a $2,000 grant if they're so interested in working on it. Up to 200 schools will be selected to be Alabama Bicentennial schools. There'll be 21 schools, 3 from each of Alabama's congressional districts will be recognized as excellent participants in the Bicentennial Schools project. Anyway, I think that's pretty interesting news. In other news, this is kind of on a different front, a story by Lacey Stimson. A new vape shop's opened up on the bypass. Now, I don't vape. I have not been vaporized. But, you know, it's an alternative that more and more people are seeing to smoking. I'm not going to take a stand on it one way or the other, but a new vapor shop is located on the bypass here in Andalusia. The owners are Cody Warren, Chris Bird, and Jason Scruggs. The shop came from Scruggs, who always wanted to own his own vape shop. And if you don't know what vaping is, it's an electronic process to create a vapor that from liquid that is inhaled. You know, it's kind of like the old pipes that they used to use in the Middle East, well, they still do, to soften the effects of tobaccos and those kind of things. I've seen the pictures of the shop, and it's really unique on the inside. Nice looking. The place is called the Vapor Stash, like your mustache, and it's over close to where Security Finance is, over here by on the, I guess we'd call that the Western Bypass over there, and it's in the same building, if I can remember right, that Radio Shack used to be in. That's right, Radio Shack. The shop has over 713 bottles of juice in different brands and flavors, and that juice, I believe, is what they refer to as the product that you'll smoke. The shop has flavors from brands like Aqua, Squeezy, The Bearded Baker, Vapetasia, Bazooka, Hua, Innovate, Koi, Vapor Bane, and Pinup Vapors. For a full line of these products, go to https://thevaporstash.com/dot. Folks, we'll be back in just a minute with more Good News Covington County. Welcome back to Good News Covington County, another segment. I'd like to start this segment with a little bit of bad news about a crash that occurred about 6 a.m. on Tuesday, May 1st. It claimed the life of a Chickasaw man who was traveling through the Red Level area. Lee Andrew Powell, age 70, was critically injured when his 2009 Nissan Titan ran off the road and down an embankment, striking several trees. Powell was pronounced dead at the scene by the Covington County coroner. The crash occurred on Covington County 82 near Terry Mill Road, 2 miles west of Alabama. Nothing further is available. They're trying to continue the investigation. You know, I'd like to, we're not using formal advertisements right now, but I'd like to take a minute to recognize some folks who've been mighty nice to us. I've talked about them before over in Opp, and that's Jamie Bauer and Jackie over at Bauer Auto Parts, Napa Auto Parts store for the Opp area. And I'll tell you, Frank and the group here in Andalusia, out on the Western Bypass, do a great job providing this area with great hydraulics product, quality auto parts. They're a great place to go if you're looking for a compressor for your automobile, the air conditioning system failed or something like that. They've got a tremendous access for parts to replace that with, and they've got them at reasonable prices. And a lot of this stuff for the applications are on hand, and if they don't have it, they can usually have it for you by the next morning, since they get nightly delivery. One of the great things about not just the quality of the people and the parts at these 2 Napa stores in Opp and Andalusia, it's the quality of the people that back them up. They've got parts men that have been there so long that they can tell you what a part looks like and pick the number up without many times even have to go to the computer, and they'll be right. So remember, if you've got a chance to patronize the people at Bauer Auto Parts or Andalusia Auto Parts out here, take the time to do it. They're great people giving a great product to our neighborhood. Now, in the world of sports, Andalusia's chasing the ring. In the battle of Class 4A, Round 3, Andalusia's headed on out toward, we hope, a state championship. The Bulldogs will host Hope, who are 24-4, will host Hopeville, who are also the Bulldogs, with a 25-6 record on Friday in the 3rd round of the Class 4A state playoffs at Andalusia High School. That ought to be a pretty good game. I don't know if Jared and I might not take off and put our camera up there and do a little bit of coverage. It'd be interesting to see how the Andalusia 9 goes out and squares off against the folks from Hopeville. Coach Tyler Dent said they're coming off a huge 2nd round win, and I know they had to fight hard for it. Here in the 3rd round, it doesn't get any easier. Hopeville is a very good team, and we'll have our hands full. You know, something I'd like to mention about this, though, is when you go to these high school games, many times you're seeing talent that 2 years from now or a year from now, if they're extremely talented, you'll be watching on television in the bigs. It all starts here at high school at a local level. According to Coach Dent, Tyler Dent, the practices all week have been real good. The kids have come together, and he's real proud of them. And the players are excited for the upcoming series. Like anybody, they've got to learn how to control their emotions as they go this. But they are fired up. They are into this position because they swept their competition out of the way, and Hopeful is in the 3rd round after they beat Hanley in the 1st round and then won 2 out of 3 against Oak Grove in round 2. In 5 playoff games, Hopeville has outscored their opponents 34-12. So it looks to me like if they've got hot bats, it may be an interesting ball game. Interesting, another story in the Andalusia Star News by Josh Dutton is about the Pleasant Home Tracks team heading to the state meet. And I just want to read the name of the athletes and what they're doing down there. River Baldwin, what an athlete. She turned in the longest throw in Class 1A girls shot put with a distance of 34 feet and 5 1/4 inches. Peyton Huckabee qualified for state in girls distance with a distance of 69 feet and 1/10 of an inch. She was also in the girls javelin throw with a distance of 85 feet plus. Ross Wilson turned in a time of 53.93 to qualify for the state 400 meter class, and Wilson also qualified for the 800 meter run with a time of 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and 92 hundredths. Matthew O'Rourke had a time of 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and 93 hundredths in the 800 meter run as well. O'Rourke also qualified in the 1600 meter dash with a time of 5 minutes, 13 seconds, and 13 seconds. Nathaniel Irwin had a time of 2 minutes, 22 seconds to qualify for the 800 meter run. Logan Bolin qualified for the boys 3200 meter run with a time of 11 minutes, 57 seconds, and 20.26 hundredths. And Caleb Powell qualified for the boys javelin throw, turning in a distance of 130 feet at the sectional meet. The Class 1A state meet will begin tomorrow at Covington High School, which is a long way from here, and will run through Saturday. We wish the kids and coaches from Pleasant Home the best in their trip to Covington. Now, folks, we've got to take a break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Good News Covington County. We're so glad to have you here with us. This segment is brought to you by Andalusia Tire Company, located on the Western Bypass here in Andalusia, Alabama. If you need rubber under your car, go see Jimbo, Greg, or Todd. They're the best place for the best tires in Andalusia, whether it's for your car, your van, your SUV, or your big truck. Andalusia Tire Company, where they can put the right rubber on your vehicle and solve your problems where the rubber meets the road. Thank you, Jimbo, Todd, Greg, for all that you do for us, and I know the kind of customer service you provide. It's really, really great. I'll tell you somebody else we need to thank is some people that are going to make it a lot better for us as we go through here. Whereas, as you know, we're fighting a battle learning how to make the sound system better. And Bonnie's Alterations are helping work with us on some sound dampening curtains for our studio that we hope will help you get a better quality sound on the broadcast that we do from here. And they've done work for me personally. I have a great deal of confidence in everything that they do, and I think they'll do a good job for us. But if you don't need your curtains hemmed, but you need your pants hemmed, or if you need a pair of pants darned, or whatever you might need in the way of alterations, you might check with Bobby's Alterations over on the North Bypass, right over next to the barbecue place, and Aaron's Rentals. I believe it's Aaron's over there. They do a good job, and what's even better is they're great people. Got a couple of public service announcements we need to get over to you right now. One of them is, and I got to put my glasses on for some of this. The Covington Baptist Association will hold a National Day of Prayer here on the square in Andalusia at noon today, right out here. It's the first Thursday in May, and it's an annual observance that they have all over the United States. The National Day of Prayer was created in 1952 by joint resolution of the Congress, and the theme for the 2018 event is unity, and boy howdy don't we need it now. So if you've got the time that you can come to the square, come to the National Day of Prayer on Covington County Square as well. Andalusia Chamber of Commerce, for you folks that are members, Andalusia Chamber of Commerce is having their legislative luncheon today with Representative Mike Jones and Alabama State Senator Jimmy Holly from over in Elba. They'll be talking about the prison system, the mandates that they are under from the federal courts, budget issues, and other things like that that are interested for all of us as taxpayers. That is a by reservation only meeting. If you've made reservations, take advantage of it. I've been to them before. It's a high quality meeting. The other announcements are as follow. The Covington County Democrats, and I know people don't think there are a lot of Democrats in Covington County, but there are. They don't get much press, and they need it. The Covington County Democrats will be having their monthly meeting on May 7th at 6 p.m. At the Covington County Commission boardroom at 220 Hillcrest Drive. If you're interested in participating in the Covington County Democrats meeting that will be held on May 2nd, which is next Tuesday. May 7th, I said 2nd. May 7th, which is next Tuesday. Call 334-504-2564 and speak with Harriet, or she'll call you back if you don't get her at that time. Also like to mention that we've got some friends that are going down to Laurel Hill, Florida for the Bluegrass Festival down there, and 10 Mile Branch, a bunch of local musicians are going to be down there. You'll see a little bit of them on our station. They came out here earlier this week and performed on the in front of the station. Had a nice little crowd out here. Quality of the music's good. We hope you'll enjoy it. But go down to Laurel Hill and see them. And of course, my personal favorite down there is the Copperline Bluegrass Group out of the Florida Panhandle, most especially out of the Panama City area. We ran into them at the Ricky Skaggs concert. They were as nice to us as they could be. You'd have thought they had money. They were so nice to us. But go down to Laurel Hill to the Bluegrass Festival. Enjoy Native American music. Not Native American, but if there's anything more American than the folk music and the bluegrass, I don't know what it is. And the quality of it is excellent. The other thing, other people I want to thank is Mr. Floyd over at Roadrunner Car Wash. He was very nice to us. That car wash is not open yet. They're still adjusting the car wash, and it'll probably be another week or so before they're open. But that guy was as nice as us as anybody could be. That's a Roadrunner Car Wash over at the corner of Martin Luther King and Presswood Bridge Road, or some people call it Country Club Road. The last thing are a couple of announcements for the Mount Zion United Methodist Church. They've got a youth fundraiser going on this Saturday, May 5th, at 7 o'clock. They'll have a kind of a rummage sale. They got great pricing going on kitchen pots, pans, utensils, bedding, knickknacks. I wonder why didn't they call it knickknacks? Dance clothes, shoes, clothes for women, men, and children. And as well as that, they'll have semi-formal dresses. And also Saturday, at the same place, they'll be selling barbecue plates, but they must be ordered in advance. I'm sure they'd take an order today. The plates will include barbecue pork, coleslaw, baked beans, bread, and dessert, all made with tender loving care at home. In order to place an order for a message, call 343-1087, or you can pick up your plates at Mount Zion United Methodist Church, 28938 Strawn School Road in Strawn, Alabama. They'll begin serving at 10:30 a.m. All proceeds are for the Mount Zion United Methodist Church Youth Summer Camp. Well, we're going to take a break now and be back with the last of the news and weather for the day. Thanks for watching. Welcome back for our final session for the day on May 3rd of Good News Covington County. And speaking of good news, Andalusia High School senior R.J. Drish will continue his basketball career at LBW Community College after signing with the Saints on Wednesday at Andalusia High School. Drish was a key member of the 2017-18 Bulldog basketball team that made it to the Final Four here in the state, falling in the quarterfinals to the eventual state champions. He's also played tight end on the football team and went to the finals before falling to our traditional dreaded enemy, UMS Wright, who I don't know, looms sometimes like something from one of the Star Wars figures. I think they ought to be, UMS Wright should be known as the Jabba the Hutts of the of our football down in here. Drish was signed at Andalusia High School. Attending there was his mother, Deidre Drish, R.J. Drish, and Rodney Drish, and David Drish. That's R.J.'s father and brothers. Also, Niguel Jones, who's Nigel Jones, who's the Andalusia basketball coach. Brad Goodman, Andalusia basketball coach, and Coach Ricky Knight from LBW, who's one of the finest human beings I've ever met in my life. Just an absolutely wonderful man. Also in news from LBW and Andalusia is Alex Crittenden signed with the LBW Saints on a Wednesday at the Heritage Room at Andalusia High School. Alex was a standout basketball player for the Lady Bulldogs for the past 4 years, and of course she's matriculated, and she was in attendance there with Levavius Edwards, her stepfather. Alex was there. Melissa Edwards, her mother, and Gloria Wright, her grandmother. Also in attendance was Bridges Anderson, the Andalusia High School girls basketball coach, and Ricky Knight, the LBW Community College basketball coach. Again, I can't say enough about Coach Knight and what a good fellow he is and the quality of the people that he turns out. I guess what we've all been waiting for as we get toward the end of the program is, what's the weather like? Well, we've got more of the same that we've had today. We're going to have sunny with a high near 90. Calm wind becoming southeast around 5 miles per hour in the morning. Wish we had that breeze blowing when it's about 90. It doesn't seem as bad. Patches of fog after 3 a.m. tonight. Otherwise, mostly clear with a low around 57 degrees, a south wind about 5 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. On Friday, we'll have areas of fog before 7 a.m., and it's been my observation, most of us are pretty foggy before 7 a.m. Otherwise, it'll be sunny with a high again near 90. Calm wind becoming south around 5 miles per hour in the morning. Friday night, it's going to cloud up a little bit with a low about 62. Have a southwest wind around 5 miles per hour, becoming calm. If you got a 5 mile an hour wind, it's pretty doggone calm anyway. Get on a lake and try to sail a boat with a 5 mile an hour wind. It's calm. Folks, we appreciate you watching with us today. We got an interview coming up with Blake Turman. We'll be broadcasting that later today. We were fortunate enough to have Barry Moore come in yesterday and interview with us. He's one of the candidates running for the U.S. congressional seat held by Martha Roby. We also had another fellow come in here, Mr. Harrell, that's running for sheriff. Both of them were great interviews, and I don't know why I said Harrell. I apologize, his wife was a Harrell. We had a great interview with those people, and we've got some mighty fine people running for office here in the district and in Covington County. Folks, stay tuned for those. Pay particular attention to the people that come here and share the information with you. It'll make you a better informed voter. And folks, the folks that come here and talk with you on this show are interested in you. Don't forget that. Now, we ask you to take care of yourselves, be kind one to another. And if you're buying anything, shop local. See you tomorrow.